Hi, I'm Kate with The Productive Teacher, and today we're going to play the word maker game with the EC word family. One-syllable words can have an onset, that's any letter or letters that come before the vowel in a word, and a rime. The rime is the vowel and any letters that come after it. Words in a word family can have different onsets, but they all have the same rime. Today we're going to combine these onsets with the EC rime to make as many words as we can. As you watch the video, you can listen to me read the words, you can read the words along with me, or you can mute the video and read the words on your own. Let's get started. Beck. Beck is not a word. Sec. Spelled this way, sec is not a word. Remember, the letter C makes the S sound before the letter E. Deck. Deck is a word. Feck. Feck is not a word. Jeck. Jeck is not a word. Remember, the letter G usually makes the J sound before the letter E, but there could be an exception. In this case, geck is not a word, but if we add an O to the end of this word, gecko, it does become a word. Jeck. Jeck is not a word. Keck. Keck is not a word. Leck. Leck is not a word. Meck. Meck is not a word. Neck. Neck is a word. Peck. Peck is a word. Wreck. Wreck spelled this way is not a word. Sec. Sec spelled this way is not a word. Tech. Tech is not a word. Veck. Veck is not a word. Weck. Weck is not a word. Yeck. Yeck is not a word. Zeck. Zeck is not a word. Check. Check is a word. Feck. Feck is not a word. Sheck. Sheck is not a word. Theck. Theck is not a word. Queck. Queck is not a word. Weck. Weck is not a word. Bleck. Bleck is not a word. Breck. Breck is not a word. Kleck. Kleck is not a word. Creck. Creck is not a word. Dreck. Dreck is not a word. Fleck. Fleck is a word. Freck. Freck is not a word. Gleck. Gleck is not a word. Greck. Greck is not a word. Pleck. Pleck is not a word. Preck. Preck is not a word. Sleck. Sleck is not a word. Smeck. Smeck is not a word. Speck. Speck is a word. Steck. Steck is not a word. Trek. Spelled this way, trek is not a word. Screck. Screck is not a word. Shrek. Shrek is not a word. Now you may be thinking, wait, Shrek is a name. It is not spelled like this. Spleck. Spleck is not a word. Squeck. Squeck is not a word. Streck. Streck is not a word. Threck. Threck is not a word. Great job. Let's count up how many words we made. Awesome job. We made 6 words in the EC word family. I'll see you next time.